Craig, let's first start with this fantasy football defense. Everyone's ready for some fantasy football, but let's make it fun. I have written down the top 10 defenses from 2021. When I hear yours, I want to pick out the differences in what you think from last year to this year. So go. Hey everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications so that you don't miss any of our free content.
Yeah, I would say, usually year to year, not a ton of change, but here's my top. I'll say my top four because I think the top four. After that, I think the other six are somewhat interchangeable. I like the Bills. Number one, I think the Bills. The one worry with the Bills would be we have an amazing offense, which they do, that scores a lot of points, and I expect them to score tons and tons of points. Your defense could be on the field a lot, so that is the worry. But just their defense is legitimately top 2 or 3 defense. I would be shocked if they don't finish in those rankings. 2, Tampa Bay Bucks. This team was great on defense last year. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of drop off there. 3, 49ers. I think they're going to be awesome. They probably might be the best defense as far as just personnel. Big problem with the 49ers. Question mark at quarterback. So they could be put into some very tough situations with turnovers. Young quarterbacks always kind of, maybe not your best friend of a great defense always. And then the Denver Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos are going to be unbelievable. And guess what? You finally got a quarterback that I don't think will turn the ball over at nearly as much. They have that great run game. I think this defense in Denver has a chance to be really, really good. So out of those 4, I'm guessing those are all in the top 10 last year.
No, the Bills and the Bucks were in the top 10 last year, but the Niners and Broncos were not. So the top 10 last year were Cowboys, Patriots, Dolphins, Bills, Saints, Bucks, Colts, Chiefs, Cardinals, Vikings. So according to my statistics, that's what it was. But I do like the Niners. Reason being, I like Bosa. 15 and a half sacks. He's a big point getter. Fred Warner, and then the safety, or Fred Warner at linebacker, great. Safety Jimmy Ward, 137 tackles from Warner as well. So that's a point-getting defense for you. And I do like the Broncos. I think they allowed the 3rd fewest points last season. So I could see an improvement in them as well. So, all right, I'll give you the credit there. Those are 2 good ones to put on the list, even if they didn't make the top 10 last season.
Okay, now the next 6, these are teams that I would say they're somewhat interchangeable after this. The Colts, the Patriots, the Saints, Rams, Cowboys, and Chargers. And like I said, this is more like for me, week to week, depending on which one I would start if I had 2 of these defenses. That's how close some of these are. I would say the one out of those, even though I have them ranked 9th or 10th, I think 10th is the Cowboys, because I think their special team, we saw that, I forget the guy's name that had 2. He had a punt return and a kick return. That could be a huge for special teams, which is a lot of times you throw the special teams in with the defense. And then, they get tons of sacks. And Diggs last year was unbelievable, getting tons of interceptions. So those turnovers are always key in fantasy football. So I would say out of those 6, maybe that's the one that has could be a week where they score you a ridiculous number of points.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Parsons, Diggs, DeMarcus Lawrence, if he's healthy. I mean, that's a good defense to rely on, I would say for sure. A lot of people saying the Dolphins could actually crack the top 10 as well. They did last year at 3. So this year, just because of how well they did, 48 sacks, 4th most in fumble recoveries. I mean, you're talking points in fantasy. So do you like the Dolphins? I guess, would you put them maybe cracking your top 10? I know they weren't, but could they possibly?
They're in that next 3 or 4 or 5. I expect more from the Dolphins offense, which is somewhat a positive and a negative. A team that scores a lot of points, sometimes, you can be up in games, maybe give up some late ones. So the Dolphins played a lot of close games last year. I expect a pretty tough division. Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, all going to be pretty good. Obviously, Jets, maybe, especially with injuries, maybe the Jets won't have the year. But I think a pretty tough division. So they're right there. And I wouldn't talk anybody off if they said, hey, they're going to be my, 10th, 11th. I wouldn't put them in the top 5 or 6, that's for sure. But the Dolphins they're one of those teams as far as betting is concerned this year. I am definitely going to wait and see because I want to see what Tua and that offense is going to do this year.
I can't disagree with that at all.